Hey, welcome, buddy. Yeah, it is 5 minutes earlier than I said it was going to be. Why? Because why not? Yeah, I didn't want to wait because I got the king in here, and kings are royalty and they're impatient, and so I just figured we'll just start us off here. And hang on one second, I'll make sure that okay, I am live, so I got to make sure about that. So, anyways, tonight I'm going to read the letter that my lawyer had sent to Kyle. Actually, King Crocoduck is going to actually read the letter, and then I'm going to address it and answer some questions with it. Now, granted, I can't get into too much specifics. I do release these things because I have promised the people that have been following all this for a very long time that I'll be forthcoming with transparency of everything, and so this is me being transparent. I'm sorry that the quality of the letter is very poor. Unfortunately, for some reason, my lawyer did not send me the actual letter. He sent me the email of it. I don't know why, but it happens. So this is the best copy I can get out of it. So I sent a copy to King Crocoduck. Hopefully he can pull it up and it's legible. But anyways, first of all, King, hey, bud. Been a while. Welcome back, man. King, you there? Did I wake you? Did you fall asleep on me? King, where'd you go?
Sorry, I muted myself.
Ah, man, you okay? I had to go check to you were there or not. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm here.
Awesome.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going to be reading this letter that Steve's lawyer sent him. I've never read it before. I don't know what's in it. I know nothing. I'm
That's
just
true.
playing
He
the
knows
part of the
nothing.
lawyer right now.
Yeah, that's true. King, people say
So,
that about you a lot, King Crocoduck. You just don't know anything. I
yeah,
definitely
that's
said that for a very long time.
yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I've or since our first interaction back in 2012, he's just been saying that I know nothing.
Well,
Uh,
he's getting pretty prevalent on the circuit there. I mean, he went from like 12 followers to I think 13 now.
Damn, moving
Yeah,
up
I
in the
know.
world.
Well, we haven't been around to slap him back down. So,
Yeah. Yeah. How are we going to stop this guy?
ah,
Anyway, here's the
exactly.
letter.
All right, so go ahead and start off, and then read like a paragraph or a sentence at a time. And real quick, Canadian atheist Michael, $5 Canadian. Woot! Hey, thank you, Michael. By the way, Jess and I got to go back on your podcast. We haven't forgotten. If you guys haven't checked out Michael's Canadian Atheist podcast, go check it out and go sub to his channel. There's my shilling for the day. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Steve, it's off. Everything is collapsing. Walter says that he's leaving town, and I have to go too. It's been great doing business with you, but you need to get out of town. The cops are after you. Yours truly, Saul Goodman, Esquire.
That's the other email. That's the other email. You read the wrong email.
Okay. Mr. Curtis, attached is a copy of the order entered today by Judge Gale. I would like to call your attention to paragraph 10 of the order, which reminds the parties that the court's judgment entered on January 23, 2020 remains in full force and effect. Your continued refusal to comply with that judgment and turn over ownership rights to the channel and associated accounts and financial documents is a continuing violation of that judgment. Paragraph 10 also lists what potential sanctions might be imposed if it is found that you have willfully violated the judgment.
Okay, so a couple things on here. I'm not going to go into the paragraph 10 of the order right now. I know King Crocoduck has not seen paragraph 10 of the order, but you guys already have. If you want to go check it out, you can go find it. It's whatever. But the paragraph basically has said very explicitly that what is in full effect is the default judgment. Period. End of story. That's it. This is what's in full force and effect. Now, there has been a motion to vacate that, but that requires a hell of a lot of what I would say substantial evidence to try to rebut that. It is rebutable. It is something that can be vacated, which I've said from the very beginning. But in order to do so, you have to demonstrate that you had no knowledge of the case. Okay, so if Kyle thinks that he can demonstrate he had no knowledge of the case, good luck with that. I hope he tries that approach because he's already submitted to the court. He's already testified that he was aware of the case. So that's kind of a non-factor to me. Right now, the judge can't do anything until June because the courts have been basically shut down because of the CV-19. But there has to be a hearing. We already knew there was going to be a hearing. We wanted a hearing. This is what we're trying to get was a hearing. And so the letter from the judge, paragraph 10, was explicit in that telling him that until there's a hearing, this is what's in full effect. If you do not comply, you are in violation of that order without question. So the sanctions that he said conclude up to a fine, which is, I believe, $500 per contempt charge, and also jail time. Actually, what he says is the word imprisonment. The judge used the word imprisonment twice, actually. And this would be what we call a civil contempt charge that a person can get out of if they obey. But what happens is they send you to jail, and then from jail you've got to correct it, basically. So, okay, so going on there. Go ahead.
The following list was included in my letter dated January 27. You have failed to provide any of the following. 1. All necessary credentials and passwords for the Non Sequitur Show website.
All right, let's do these individually. When he submitted the letter to the court, the passwords that he gave to it were wrong. All of them were incorrect. As a matter of fact, the emails were incorrect as well. So, next.
2.
One sec. I'm sorry. He also said he was going to send a link to transfer ownership. That didn't happen. So, okay, next.
2. The username and password access to the Non Sequitur Show YouTube channel. 3. The username and password to access the Non Sequitur Show Patreon account. 4. The username and password to access the Non Sequitur Teespring account. 5. The username and password to access the Non Sequitur Twitter account. 6. The username and password to access Steve McRae's Pornhub account.
I have that already.
Yes. No, it's the
I'm not giving you my passwords again for that. Do you know what a bill you racked up last time?
Yeah, I stand Steve's only.
By the way, gay, necro, furry porn, not very popular. Okay, it's pretty niche, man.
Yeah. Well, that's why I give so much money to. That's why I give so much money to your OnlyFans. You're the only provider. 6. The username and password to access the Non Sequitur Show subreddit account. 7. The license for the VMIX software. And 8. All necessary credentials and passwords to access all podcasting services where the Non Sequitur Show is accessible: iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, etc.
Yeah. So all these things that were supposed to be turned over, not one of them have been. So every one of these is a separate contempt charge, to my knowledge. But I don't. That's up to the judge, obviously. But what's funny is I didn't even realize some of the stuff that I even sent to my lawyer, because somebody had sent to me the RSS feeds from the podcast, and I did go and look at some of them. So I just basically sent him like iHeartRadio. I didn't even remember what iHeartRadio even was. I sent him the SoundCloud too. I don't even remember what the hell SoundCloud is. Somebody just the other day was telling me about SoundCloud, and I went to that site. I didn't even know what the stuff in the Non Sequitur Show even was on the SoundCloud. Spotify, I know. Google Play, which I don't have because that's Android and Apple's, I think. And iTunes, I don't have because that's Apple, so I don't have access to that anyways. But still, it needs to be turned over. But the license for the vMix has not been turned over, which that was not to Kyle. That was to the Non Sequitur Show. That was supposed to be something that Boulonnais was supposed to use. But so anyways, these are all things that he's actually in contempt of. As of right now, he has failed to obey all of them. He is not legally in contempt until the judge obviously says so. But the judge says there's reasons to say that you are in violation of the order of the partial default judgment, and if you wait until we have a hearing on it, then the judge he'll do whatever sanctions are necessary. All right. So, moving on.
All right. In addition, you have failed to produce the necessary financial documents. You are advised to respond to this email and provide all of these items immediately when the courts reopen.
Hang on 1 second. Well, I guess we'll go through this. So, he has failed to provide the necessary financial documents. What he submitted to the court was not financials. Any accountant will tell you that was not financials. So, now, I'm not saying that some of those numbers probably weren't accurate. I think some of the numbers probably were accurate, but without an accounting of it, right, without an auditing of it, who knows? But he submitted absolutely nothing to support anything that he submitted to the court, and didn't have anything of that notarized. So it was non-compliance. Oh, somebody wants you to read this in German and in Russian.
I don't know German.
Well, I know you know Russian.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that.
Comrade.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that.
It's too hard for you. Russian's hard, right?
It is a hard language,
Yeah.
but I'm not feeling up to it right now.
Yeah. I know you've been worn out. You sound worn out. I feel bad. I feel bad that you're worn out. We're doing this, but hey, you know what? It's been a while since I talked to you, so it's cool to hang out with you, man.
Yeah, likewise.
I continue on.
Let's see, what's this last part say?
When the courts reopen.
Yeah, when the courts reopen, we will act immediately to enforce Mr. McRae's rights and pursue all damages incurred from your continued refusal to comply with the judgment.
And that's an
Signed.
understatement. Yeah. And then my lawyer, yeah. So that is actually an understatement. There's a lot of things they're going to be asking for that we weren't actually originally planning on, but since we have to go through all this other stuff, we figured why not. So, yeah, this is going to be a lot bigger than I expected. I have a feeling. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at. This is a letter that we can show when we go to the hearing that we have informed Kyle that he is in violation of the order of the partial default judgment. And again, the only reason why it was partially default judgment is because the judge did not find any conclusions of matter of fact or law, because we have to sue for actual financial monetary damages, and we can't really do that unless we get the proper financials from Kyle. If we don't get the proper financials from Kyle, then either two things: either he goes to jail until he gives them, or we have to take a really good estimate based upon some of the other things we can look into, and it's going to have to be even much, much higher. Then he has to actually say, well, no, that's not the case, and he has to demonstrate that's not the case. So, because we'll be going off the estimates from some of the other sources, but right now it's looking substantially high, and exactly where I said it was before. So. Actually, well, at least that, probably higher than that. But the people are out there saying that it's that if he's not in violation, well, he's clearly in violation. The judge has told him there is reason to believe that you're in violation, and we're going to have a hearing whether you're in contempt. So there, at the very least, there is reasons to believe that he is in violation, right? So, I mean, he hasn't fulfilled the order of the court. Simple as that. That's a matter of fact. Now, he has also said that he wasn't properly served, but again, good luck with that. He has to demonstrate that he had absolutely no knowledge of that, and I don't see that happening. I mean, if he was like in a coma or something, that'd be fine. But he wasn't in a coma. He did respond. The service was to the business location, which was the last known location. That was proper. And in North Carolina, service is proper when it's mailed. The presumption is considered to be proper when it's mailed. All it has to do is go to the last known address, and an adult has to sign for it. That's it. That's it. And if somebody has to rebuke that, it's on them. But until then, the presumption is it was properly served. So as of right now, legally, he was properly served. And that I can tell you right now, that's not going to change. I will go on record to say that's not going to change. I mean, he would literally have to lie and change everything that he's already said, and which is fine. I'm kind of hoping he does do that, but I don't think that he would even be that foolish. But who knows, right? But anyways, that's where we stand. We got questions on it from the live chat. Let me know. While we're getting some questions, I'll catch up with King Crocoduck. So you've been busy like with school, well, teaching, and you're a grad student now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, already got my master's and moving on to other things now.
So smart. Smarty stuff.
Sure.
So how does it feel to be one of the people that actually changes the way things are done, rather than just be the ones learning it?
What do you mean?
Well, like, you know, I always looked at it like when you get a bachelor's. An associate's means you're on your way. Bachelor's mean you have a little bit of understanding. Master's degree means you've made a mastery of it. And then when you get a doctorate, you've actually changing things. Or when you're working on your doctorate, you're actually changing, you know, the system. You're actually educating people. So how does it feel to be like part of the system rather than just sitting in a classroom learning?
That was true while I was getting my master's as well. You know, they let you teach. If you're a graduate student, it doesn't really matter whether you're a master's or doctoral student or whatever. But yeah, teaching is fine. The students listen and they learn, and if they don't, then they fail. You know.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
know,
like-
I think that's a good pedagogical approach to things. I do the same thing online. Look, you only have a certain amount of time. I only have a certain amount of time, and I try to weed out the people that don't want to learn, right? So I'll be in like a Facebook group, like the Atheist Experience group, right? And there's some really cool people over there, and some really idiots. And the idiots I don't want to deal with, right? I mean, they'll just throw out some really stupid rejoinder thinking they've defeated my argument. I'm like, you don't even understand my argument. You're saying something completely nonsensical, and you're thinking that you've destroyed me. Okay, great. Have a nice day. And then somebody else will go, hey, I thought about this and this. Oh, that makes sense. And let's have a talk, let's discuss about that, and we'll have a great discussion. Who am I going to spend more time talking to, right?
Sure.
People like you sound tired. You do. I feel bad. You sound
I'm fine.
Okay. Well, I trust you. You never lied to me before. I mean, there was that one time you told me you loved me, and you gave me that reach around, and I really felt special. But I've come to learn you do that to a lot of people.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, I said I said you never lied to me except for that one time you told me you loved me while giving a reach around. But I felt special, but then I realized that you did that to everybody. So
yeah.
But I did appreciate the reach around. I mean,
yeah. Well,
it was very loving.
There you go. You got to be thankful for what you get.
Yeah. Well, now you know what? With this freaking,
I was paying you back for the blowjob.
I'm really good at that, ain't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. But with this COVID-19 crap, it's like, I'll take what I can get at this point. I don't know, man. When this is all over, man, I might just pick the closest thing I could find, Hey, you, come here. What you doing tonight?
Yeah. Well, you couldn't afford me anymore, Steve.
That's true. You were definitely out of my price range. Yeah. Well, before, I think I paid you in popcorn or something.
Well, I was in a bad place financially at the time.
Yeah, you were young and needed the money. I get it. I totally understand.
What do you mean we're young? I still am young.
You're like your mid-20s now, right? You're over the hill.
What do you mean over the hill?
Did you hit 25 yet?
Yes, I am 25
you finally
now.
Hit 25. Okay, that'd be pretty recently.
Yeah, relatively recently.
Yeah. Well, I know you're good at math, so you can probably figure out that's a quarter of a century.
Yes.
Yes. Quarter of a century.
Well, that's the point, Steve. I'm still
old.
These are the best years of a person's life.
Let's see. Well, I would say that the early 20s were, because between 17 and 23 I was in the Navy, so that sucked. So after I got out, that was some good years. What I remember of them. Well, I better yet, from what I was told, they were good years. But you don't party that much at all, probably. You don't even drink, do you?
I'll have a drink now and then. Not as much as I did when I went to UCSB, but I still drink. Why not?
I don't know. I got ulcers and stuff like that, or at least pre-ulcers, and so it's very hard for me. I have rum and coke nights every Saturday. Landon will come on, and we'll drink, and it won't be that much, but it hits me pretty hard, I guess.
Well, I'm more of a Moscow Mule kind of guy, but yeah, I'll join you one of these days.
Yeah, I've had a Moscow Mule when I was out in where were we? L.A. actually. Yeah. So I mean, because I invited you to come join us.
Oh shit! Right. I don't think I was in town at the time.
Yeah.
Was I in Pittsburgh?
I don't know where you were at, but I know you were out of town. But I did invite you because I'm cool like that. I figured you want to come hang out with the cool kids. But
sure. Yeah, I'll come next time.
Well, I'm gonna hold you to that
if I ever do anything.
Well, I'm gonna hold you to that because don't make promises you can't keep. Because I'm gonna be doing a show once a month from West Covina. Maybe even twice. I think it's twice a month from West Covina, Fullerton. I'm going to be
West
doing
Covina, Fullerton.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a show with Reasons to Believe with Dr. Fuzrana in studio, that Hugh Ross's group.
Okay. Yeah, so, I've been to Fullerton before.
I mean that's not too. I know your general area. I'm not going to dox you, but he lives at 555 Suck Me Street.
Steve, come on.
Dox.
Yeah. People are going to come after me now.
Here's some fun fact for you, dude. I did not know this. Maybe you did. But I guess if you're like, we're not on camera right now because I don't feel up to it. You don't feel up to it. And people know a lot of times that some people just don't want to be on camera. But I guess if you're not on camera and you hear this, that means you're doxing somebody. Did you know that?
I did not.
I did not know that either.
Where is this from?
I random people from the internet, I guess. No, there's a specific person on the internet who somehow, in his mind's eye, thinks that if you hear typing in the background, you're doxing somebody.
No. The reason I keep my camera off is because of the sounds going on in the background that sound like this.
Slap. It's funny. When they had what was it? Oh, what was it that Pornhub had? Oh yeah, when that game came out. Remember that certain game came out and the Pornhub just dropped. They had that massive drop when the game came out. Do you remember that? I don't remember the name of the game. Some game came out and just Pornhub just tanked it, and then
Probably Grand Theft Auto 5.
no, I don't think that's what it was. It's possible. Somebody probably in the live chat remember. But can you imagine? Can you imagine what their numbers are spiking now with? I mean, this has got to be like the biggest boon for them ever.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, necro furry, gay porn. I guess is like #1 trending thing or something.
Well, don't knock it till you've tried it, Steve.
No, I don't
That's
judge, dude. Hey, look, I'm flexible, man. I do not judge, man, at all. Whatever person's kink is, and you're a grown adult and you want to make your own decisions, knock yourself out, man. Who am I to get in the way of your kink, man?
Yeah. Digging up the coffin, that's like the foreplay for guys like me.
Well, I mean, I've heard you like them so they don't really talk back and stuff. I mean, they don't question you.
Yeah.
Just take orders. I mean, I tell you what, though, when you dig them up and you tell them to play dead, they're really good at that.
Yeah.
They're really good at that. So, like I said, don't judge. But what else has been going on with you? So, I mean, we have no questions from the live chat. We got a lot of people watching, but they're all quiet and stuff out there.
Well, it was a short, straightforward letter. I don't know if there are many questions to be had about it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, most of them have heard this before, but like I said, I did want to keep them posted. I did want to fill them in. I mean, this is nothing new to anybody, but it's so funny because there are people out there going, Steve doesn't know what he's talking about. His lawyer sucks. And yet, everything we've done is proper, and I've been straight up right across the board, and I will continue to be right. And the other person, that's the defendant, has done nothing but lie and continues to lie. And when we were saying that all sanctions pursuant to all damages incurred from the continual refusal to comply with the judgment, that is not an idle threat. Timelines for next step, somewhere in June, we'll have a hearing. And then we will, basically, the judge at that time will be able to enforce the penalties for non-compliance. Yeah, which can definitely up to including incarceration. And for such willful disregard, it's a very high probability. And then what happens is the person gets arrested, and then they have to actually fix their stuff while it's in jail. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say earlier, I've been playing with an idea for some time of creating a convention, the Crocothon, where I don't know, we'd be me and a few other people from this corner of the internet would be giving talks, a conference basically.
That'd be cool. I'd listen to that. Except when you do your no offense, because I love you dearly, but the stuff when you get into the real deep, postmodernism stuff and Marxism and all that, I can't get any of that, man. And you know some smart people. You still with Zarathustra? Where is it? Zarathustra?
Zarathustra Serpent.
Yeah, you still with him?
Yeah, we still chat now and again.
That's not a gay reference, by the way. You could have been. I mean, you guys might be close. I have no idea.
No, we were just chilling.
Yeah, you're just friends. That's what I hear a lot. Just friends, Oh, Cheshire wants to be a guest on that. I know what that means. But hey, Chesh, you want to come in? I wasn't ignoring you. Hang on. Let me.
I think she's asking if she can be a guest to my conference.
Yeah, I think so. Does she want to?
The Crocothon.
Yeah, I think that's what she's asking.
Well, why not?
Why not? So I got to hang on a sec. So I got to turn this off. I don't know why I have my rum and coke thing up, but I've got to get her the link. So give me 1 second, and then if she wants to come in now. But go ahead. So what does that entail?
Sorry?
What would that entail? Your Crocothon?
Well, just a bunch of people from the internet. Just doing a fucking convention. And having drinks afterward and.
This is live? Something... I mean, in LA?
Yeah, live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something live. We'd rent a hotel or something, and Well, one of their conference
Oh,
rooms.
damn, I'm totally down for that. You invited me or just as a spectator? Either way, I don't care.
Well, I mean, sure, we could have like a whole fucking lineup of people who want to talk, and whole, you know, slew of guests will be flying in from all over the place. And yeah, it would just be really chill, you know, nothing too serious. Just a place, just a meet and greet but with speakers, you know.
Yeah, we were going to do something like that for when we did like non sequitur, where there would be a NunCon. We were going to do something similar in LA, but I would be totally down for your idea, sure. Yeah.
You know,
What,
just
what
something
kind-
that does something. Here's the key: it can't take itself too seriously, because if it takes itself too seriously, then it has to, you know, meet some kind of standards, and if it has to meet some
standards.
kind of standards. Sorry?
Fuck standards.
Well, I mean, like, obviously, it can't be, you know, it can't devolve into complete nonsense, but you know, I don't want any like moralistic busybodies telling me how my conference should be run, or what kind of people should and shouldn't be allowed to.
Do you get that a lot?
Be invited. It happens every time anybody tries hosting a conference these days, and for me, it's just going to be like, you know, this is a very chill, relaxed meet and greet. If you try wearing a suit, you're going to be kicked out. It's just a chill place to chat and give talks and have drinks, and that's it.
That sounds perfect to me, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like my kind of conference, not gonna lie.
What time frame are you looking at?
Man, I don't even know. This is just an idea I've been playing with in my head. I don't know anything about organizing a conference. I'd have to do a lot of research. But you know,
met Cheshire. She's good at that shit, probably.
Probably, he says,
well, I
without
don't know.
any
We were
real.
supposed to have you do it for us, but we never got a chance, right? We just assumed you were good. Demonstrate your abilities.
Demonstrate my assumption for me. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, she lives in
I could
Canada.
probably do that. I could probably do that okay. I would just have to figure out what the venues are like and what the budget is.
yeah, I don't know. I would have to like survey my audience to see who might be interested in coming, and you know, get a few other people to join. Maybe people who haven't really gone to conferences before. People like Martimer, 81, Cool Hard Logic.
Oh, those are great names. Yeah, I know Martimer. I've never talked to Cool Hard Logic, although he probably knows of me. I don't know. I know Martimer does. He's been on the show, but
Anti-Citizen X.
Oh, he's still alive?
Yeah, he and I correspond in real life.
That'd be cool. Oh, I got to get Jim Majors in here too. He wants to come in. Hey, Jim, I'll give you the link in.
That sounds like a great idea. It also sounds like you have a really cool guest list. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like you have a pretty cool, functional idea on.
Sure, you want me to show up and say hi to those people? I mean, it might be, you know.
Nobody said you were invited, Steve.
Well, I'm gonna crash the party anyways. But luckily, I get along with those guys. So.
No, Steve, if you try showing up, you're kicked out.
I could do it. I
He's
can just
banned.
film it. I could say it's like a filling for Pornhub, and you let me in.
No, you're not coming in. I'm gonna have
Standards?
six bald fat guys standing at the door who are gonna sit on you if you try to enter.
That sounds pretty kinky at this point. But you literally just said you had no standards. So
Yeah, that's where you fall, Steve. You're below the
so
no
I'm
standard
below.
zone.
I am legit below the no standard level. Holy shit! By the way, you don't need 5 bald guys. Just hire Pit Monk.
I haven't heard from Pimbunk in a really long time. Is he still active?
Yeah, he's doing a show. My producer Bullinator does he produces his show called The Morning Wood.
Yeah, he's on Twitch a little bit more often than he's on YouTube. I see him on somewhat active on Twitter once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, I was in his live hangout the other day. I go on his channel every so often, so he's doing well. Yeah, I guess. I mean, his father passed away some time ago, and that kind of messed him up. But he's pimp.
I heard he was getting into some drama with Shani again.
Yeah, he was talking about the other day, Shani for Christ. I don't get the whole fascination with her. I don't know. I don't remember talking to her, and I've known her for ages, but I don't think I've ever had actual dialogue with her. Have you, King?
With Shani? No.
Okay. How about Rev News?
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I have with Rev.
I hadn't even heard of her until I was actually on an episode of The Drunken Peasants, and I was like, "Oh my God, who is this? What is happening?"
Yeah, we go way back with them. That was back in the G-Man days, because I think she was in love with G-Man, or G-Man was in love with her. I don't remember. I
Hey,
think she was chasing him.
Steve, maybe I can arouse your interest
Ooh, this sounds good. Yes.
in
So
a
what are you going to
new
show me
locale.
now? Yes.
A new locale by the name of Fioria apophasis.
I can't
He
pronounce
has
that.
he has over 200,000 subscribers, and he is basically Dunning-Kruger personified.
Oh God.
Do tell.
s-
You've got me slightly aroused.
So let
Go
me
full.
look for a video. Let me look for a video that I think is representative of the kind of creature we're dealing with, and maybe I can give you the link and we can play it here. And it has to be seen to be believed. That's all I'm going to say.
So
no.
you're not going to tell me whether he's a flurfer, young Earth creationist?
So
No.
he-
Make it a surprise.
Right, surprise.
this isn't that much of a surprise. So he belongs to the cult of Tesla. By which I mean he's one of these people who thinks Nikola Tesla was
A god.
this was basically God, and he understood all the secrets of physics, and all the
Uh-huh.
physicists right now
I
are
know
lying
that.
to us. Quantum mechanics is bullshit. Gravity is bullshit.
Okay, so is he a what's called a is he one of those
electric universe.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
he believes in the electric
Awesome.
universe, and the shit that comes out of his mouth when he talks about like magnetism, like it's like spirit science is talking, and he has this ridiculous arrogant demeanor where he talks about how Einstein was an idiot and how he didn't understand that gravity is actually magnetism. And I'll show you a representative
Okay.
video. The thing is, he
Oh,
uploads
dear.
constantly, multiple times a day. He uploads. I was talking with my girlfriend about him yesterday, and it has to be seen to be believed.
No, I've dealt with the Electric Universe people before. There was a few of them that came around. One of them was called Grim V, I think was his name. But I looked into some of their stuff, right, and I was just mortified because these people are supposed to be PhDs, and they're absolutely insane. Just batshit crazy. One of them had actually wrote some kind of paper trying to explain that the sun was not actually, and you may not know this, but the sun is not really hydrogen helium fusion reactions. It's not actually doing any proton-proton cycles. No, what it actually is a PNP resistor. Did you know that? I mean, a transistor. Did you know that was a PNP transistor? Because I didn't know that, right? I mean, I was shocked to find that out. Yeah, this was legit. He wrote a paper trying to. The sun is not held up by gravitation or a combination of gravitational force pushing in and gamma pressure pushing out. That's not what it is. No, it is a PNP barrier junction, and the whole sun is an electric circuit that is based upon a transistor.
I read somewhere that it was turtles all the way down.
Yeah.
Jim.
By the way,
Oh,
nice
no.
try on your question that I asked you, Jim. That was pretty good. Way off base.
Well,
But it was good.
I realized right at the end, right as you left, that you were referring to epistemology.
Yeah, I was very epistemology. I had asked, Jim had to ask an atheist thing today, and so I was over there. I was like, "So what's your stance on particularism versus Methodism?" And he's like, "Well, I don't really think particularism, should be in any case because I think that we have moral considerations, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, I was talking about epistemology, man, which is how how we know things.
I'm sorry, I
and
thought
if
you
know
were talking about theology.
Yeah,
man.
no, it's Sosa, Ernest Sosa differentiates between the two on what we know first and
Yeah.
how we know something first. But anyways, no, that was a good try though. I was impressed.
No, I know what you mean now, and but to answer your question, I am a particularist in that aspect.
Okay, cool. Do you believe in the electric universe?
Definition?
You know what, KC? What's the definition of electric universe?
Gonna pull that video up and find out.
I'd rather not.
Electric universe people think that gravity doesn't exist and that everything is just a function of electromotive force. Like, for example, the moon doesn't have craters for asteroids that hit it. No, the moon has craters on it because during the early days of mankind, there was huge lightning strikes between the Earth and the moon, and those lightning things were arcing, and the arcing caused the pitting on the moon. Yeah, a lot of this work was, somebody had mentioned this, Twisty Hippie said Velikovsky. A lot of this was kind of based upon Velikovsky's work. I had read Immanuel Velikovsky in high school. I had read Worlds in Collision, which is a book that he had back in like 1950. And yeah, I thought it was bumpkiss. Don't get me wrong. Even back then, I was like, this is bogus. But I came to realize that Velikovsky probably was vilified more than he should have been, because he was actually trying to be a real scientist and just going by what the data was for his day. And a lot of people took that and ran with it, like the guy that did the who was a kid, the Ashkenazi records, right? The hidden knowledge and these race of aliens that came down, and he tried to read Sumerian text and just didn't even know how to do that properly. Who was that? It wasn't Manuel Velikovsky. It was the other guy that ran with it. Jesus. The Sumerian dude. Come on, Jim. You know all these conspiracy guys.
I honestly have no idea when it comes to things like Electric Universe, like these kind of like somewhat crackpot things. I generally stay away from them.
Zachariah Stitchin. That was his name.
Sitchins. Yeah, he was
Zachariah Stitchin.
Yeah.
Casey will probably be back. He accidentally dropped.
Well, that's kind of like that Graham. What's his name? Graham. Shit.
Graham Oppie, because I like him.
No. I love
Cracker?
Graham Oppie.
Graham Priest. He's a
he is
too.
white.
Graham crackers are brown.
I don't know. I can't think of his name, but he wrote like Fingerprint of the Gods, I think. Hancock. Graham Hancock.
Hancock.
Yeah. So he's kind of he pulls on the Sitchin tug line quite a bit.
Yeah. Now, so I used to read the guy that wrote In Search of Ancient Astronauts and Chariots of the Gods, Hoagland, Richard C. Hoagland. What a nutter he was.
Yeah. That they were the Jesus mythicists of their day.
Yeah. So, speaking of Jesus mythicists, while we wait for Casey to come back, I talked to Carrier yesterday.
No kidding.
Yeah, he popped around my channel again, and I gotta tell you, I don't like be mean or anything. He's a well-educated guy. I mean, he's no dummy, but I don't know why he seems to want to completely, by fiat, say stuff and not address anything that I ever say to him. He basically says, "Well, I've already explained this, and you're not understanding." Which are fine. I do this to people all the time too when I don't think they're really understanding. But he doesn't really ever explain anything. Right.
Well, what people like that don't understand though is the burden isn't on you to understand. If somebody's not understanding an argument that you're making, then it would behoove you to alter your argument in a way that they can perceive it the way you're trying to transmit it.
Yeah, and I asked very simple questions.
Sorry to interrupt, but I put Dunning-Kruger man in the link of Twitter, so you can
okay,
have a look
I'll
at
check
him
it out in a few minutes here. We were just talking about Richard Carrier that I was talking to the other day because Richard and maybe you can weigh in on this because you know math pretty well, Keen. So Richard likes to put everything into the perspective of probability, Bayesian. Okay, he's clearly
he loves
fanatic.
Bayesian.
Now I don't know enough. I know a little bit about Bayesian, but I don't know enough to ever evaluate his work. I would not even claim to. However, from what I understand, using Bayesian to do history is unheard of, except for him doing it. But be that as may, he tries to put knowledge in a probabilistic form, and he says, well, you can never have a probability of one. And I asked him, well, do you mean one as in certainty or epistemic certainty, like Descartes certainty or Cartesian certainty? And I couldn't get an exact answer because I was like, okay, if by means that you say you cannot be of certainty of a probability of one, when knowledge doesn't require certainty, then what happens when you have something like A equals A? We all know A equals A by the law of identity must hold true in all possible worlds. It is a metaphysical necessity. It must
what if
have
it doesn't have any prior probabilities?
Well, I don't know what the prior probabilities would be for that. Like I said, Bayesian, I don't understand where he was going with this, but my argument was this. If it's not a one probability, then what is it? It has to have some value to it. And if that's the case, then if it's not one, it must exist as it must be wrong in some possible world, right? A equals A. If it's not a metaphysical necessity where it must exist in all possible worlds, there must be at least one possible world where that relationship does not hold, which means it's no longer a metaphysical necessity. So how can you not have certainty of that? To me, certain things are certain. A priori knowledge, like mathematical truths, be them axiomatic or not, have to be, to me, epistemologically speaking, seemingly so, certainties. What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, King, what do you think of that?
No, I agree with you there with mathematics, but you run into even more problems whenever you do what Carrier does and apply that towards something like historicity or something like that. Because the problem with the Bayesian model, I mean, not that it doesn't have its utility and its applications, it does. But it's only as valuable as the data that is input into
priors.
it.
Yeah,
absolutely. And if you look at all of the Bayesian calculations for the prior probability of the resurrection or of Jesus's virgin birth or whatever, you will not find any two people that conduct the same study that come to the same conclusion, and it's because of their input, because people put in data that they feel is relevant. That
right.
They
well, he
feel
even said you can
has
use other
value.
data and you're going to get different answers. I mean,
Right.
he comes up with a 1/3 chance of Jesus existing, but he admitted if you put other priors in, you're going to end up with 1/3 chance that he didn't exist and 2/3 chance that he did. Right.
Ask him this. Ask him why he doesn't put in those other priors.
Like I said, I would never get it. I know a little about epistemology. I'm not going to get into it with Bayesian. You roll over me, right? I wouldn't even know what he's talking about. That's not my area that I read. Not that I have a particular area, of course, obviously. But Ayamoon, $10 sticker. Thank you, Ayamoon. Oh, she had a little fuzzy, what is this? A fox with a heart. Thank you.
It's all about the value judgment of the data, though. I mean, that's what it is. Whether it's put in or not, it's not going to be put in if it's not relevant, and it's not going to be seen as relevant if they don't see any sort of inherent or possible value in it.
So I don't know if King knows the mysticism things, but what do you think, King, of the of knowledge being a probability of less than 1? Because I go by JTB, right? So knowledge has to be believed, has to be true, and you have to be justified for it. So I was running an argument in the atheist experience group, which only a handful of people actually started understanding. But my statement is, very simple, if you know that P must be true. That is a true statement. Right? If you know something, it has to be true because by definition, knowledge cannot be wrong. So if it is the case that I know something, right? If I know something to be the case, then it must be the case. There is no other way it could be. It's not that complicated, but trying to explain this to a bunch of atheists who don't want to learn a little bit about epistemology is difficult. But King, how do you take knowledge and probabilities? Hang on, I want to ask King with this. I'm looking at this video real quick. 16 minutes.
I have to review my notes on epistemology. It's been a long time since I've looked at these things, but I think I reject JTB.
What do you prefer instead? And by the way, I'm cool with that. I like JTB plus, but.
Okay. I don't remember. I have to review my notes.
Right.
But I think that I'm going to be more hostile to this idea of math being a priori knowledge. I mean, I'm okay with deductive systems conferring 100%. The truth value is 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're ranging t to go between 0 and 1, fine. Within deductive frameworks, t is 1, but that doesn't tell you anything about the world. That tells you about the relationship between propositions.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Well, careful about being too hostile there and worrying about your tone.
I agree within the system, right? I mean, we're talking like even quantum mechanical systems. When you have a probability of 1 and 0, these are within the quantum mechanical states. But the a priori knowledge, the way I think math is a priori knowledge, and again, there could be different views on this, but I don't have to go look to see 1 + 1 = 2. I don't have to take a rock and another rock and put them together to get 2. That to me is a priori, right? 1 + 1 = 2 is clearly not a posteriori because I don't have to go observe it. I could. But I don't need to. I can analytically get it.
But when you really get down to brass tacks, 1 + 1 = 2 because we say 1 + 1 = 2.
Which is a priority.
Exactly.
Fine, but then
because they don't have to go observe it, right? A priori
Right,
literally means that I don't need to go look at it. It is analytically the case.
Because it's just like you said,
Fine,
nobody can say that 1 + 1 = 2 unless somebody first said 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah. Do you know? Yeah. I mean, I'm using reason and knowledge instead of observational experience, which is a priori.
Or justification. Yeah.
Well, I think he's saying that somebody has to have witnessed it in the first place, otherwise you wouldn't be able to. If I'm understanding that, that's the contention.
Well, fundamentally, when you get down to it, though, what are we talking about the relationship between propositions, or are we talking about relationship between things that actually exist?
Well, that's a good question.
What do you mean it exists? Are you talking about tangibles or abstracts or both?
No, I think he's more like the thing with mathematics is mathematics doesn't always correspond with reality, right? And so there are things in a system that you can be talking about within the scope of the system.
You don't even have to go to you don't even have to go to mathematics. You can go to any system of propositions you want. I can state a perfectly logical syllogism that's going to be 100% true, but doesn't actually correspond to anything that's real.
Yes.
Premise 1. Luke is the son of Darth Vader. Premise 2. Leia is Luke's sister. Premise 3. Somebody, if whatever, you can see where I'm going.
Well, yeah, but
The
that'd be
conclusion is Darth Vader had sex. We got yeah.
Yeah, fine.
more than once.
Uh,
Well, here's the thing,
fine,
though. I would put that into fictionalism, right? Because if you accept fictionalism, you can treat fictional propositions with the actual truth value.
Right. So like for example, if somebody said, if you have 7 oranges and little Sally stole 4 of them, how many oranges do you have? You don't have to have had those oranges in order to visualize that sentence.
The concept.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean, how do you?
So it's not dependent on actual observations, but rather a synthetic a priori.
Yeah, I would put it. Yeah, that's fine too. I mean, like and by the way, not the Kantian. Kantian's synthetic a priori seems a little bit. He's talking about a subject-predicate relationship.
I love Kant's view on it.
Yeah, I figures you do. Oscos Pajas, $5. Just showing my love and support. All of you have a great content. I hope everyone's staying safe. Thank you, Oscos Pajas. We are trying. Okay, so when it comes to propositions,
I love Osh.
Isn't he awesome?
Got a great name.
He really is.
Yeah.
I
So-
love that name.
Casey,
It's
so
just, I don't know. It's like the best porn name ever.
that's what has actually got it from. Yeah. Go search him. Put Oshkosh Bajosh, and King Crocoduck Gone Wild into Pornhub and see what comes up. I'm just kind of curious.
Well, I put it into Google one time and I got some kind of kids clothing store.
Well, you know, Casey's pretty young, so he probably does. He wears 6 boys or something. But so go back
If
to
it makes you feel,
Well,
if it
that's
makes
not
you
where
feel
I
any
was going
better,
with that.
I have to shop at the Kids Gap. So
the Kid Gap.
Baby
Gap.
Baby gaps.
Steve, why don't we have a look at our friend, Mr.
All right. So
Mr.
well,
Dunning-Kruger?
one second before we do that, the proposition. I'm kind of curious. Do you accept propositional things like truth gaps and truth gluts, where you have propositions that aren't necessarily true or false, or it can be both? For example,
Man,
like,
I don't remember. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not in a place to have this conversation.
no
right
worries.
now.
You want to watch this guy, Quantum Def?
But
dude.
also, look. I'm not gonna give you anything interesting to think about. Let me review my notes, and
right.
we'll talk about it. All right.
All right. So
Sorry to brush you off, but it's just
no.
I'm not in a place to be able to talk right now.
You want to make fun of this Quantum dude.
That too.
This sort of operators. Now, what's the best way to play this
Not
on
a good
here?
headspace.
I guess I could just throw this over here. And
Steve, do you think I'm wrong for being an atheist? Just to address a question in the chat.
why would I think you're wrong for being an atheist?
Somebody said, does anyone actually agree with Steve that all the atheist YouTubers are wrong when they say they are atheists?
I've never made that claim.
what? What
I didn't-
What's a
I didn't-
bizarre thing to
but-
say?
But I didn't
What's
think you
that?
did, but I wanted to be the one to oppose you if that was the case.
Yeah, no, that's just stupid. I don't know who said that. I wasn't paying attention. But all right, so here's the video. Okay, so how am I gonna? You guys are gonna have to follow along, I guess. I mean, how am I gonna play this?
red bouncing ball.
Parable that says that
Screen share it?
the fool cuts himself.
That's a good
with his
idea.
How do I? Okay, wait. Screen share via. Oh, I get you. But yeah, you'll be able to hear it though.
Oh my god.
But you won't be able to hear it.
You've
This is
got
why I have a
13,000
producer.
subscribers, man.
Fuck. What do you guys want from me, man? I can screen share, but you guys won't be able to hear it.
Just a little technological competence would be nice.
This is why I have a producer.
Quick call, bull.
Quick, call bull. All right. I guess I just have to put my headphones up. All right. So you got any timestamp on here before I play this, Casey?
Whoa, we disappeared.
You can start from the beginning and pause whenever you feel like you have to.
All right. I'm going to turn up my volume here.
0.3 of a second into this.
All right. So I have to do it the old-fashioned way. Here we go. Let's just listen to this genius, I guess.
Hello. You know, there's an ancient parable that says that the fool cuts himself with his own tongue. Oh my goodness, how right that is. So right now, I'm going to use quantum theory to destroy quantum theory. Here we got Bohr and Planck
I use the stones to destroy the stones.
cult
sorry, I couldn't use
master.
it.
We have Einstein also. We have the cult master Richard Feynman.
Wait! I gotta stop it right here. Wait.
What?
Richard Feynman was the cult master, or the greatest physicist of all frickin' time. Okay, that's a heavy claim right there.
He's got a pretty low benchmark there. It's like his limbo pole's just laying on the ground.
Okay.
Richard Feynman. Tricky Dicky. He's dead now. What does the term quantum mean? It doesn't mean anything. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the definition of the term quantum. First, let's start off with the connotative implication, and then we'll go to the denotative implication of the term quantum. Quantum means quantity, means materialism, i.e. atomism. Quantum ultimately is a cult of bumping particles. That's correct. At its very core, quantum is a cult of bumping particles, interactions of particles. But everything is just particles, subatomic particles, invisible particles, unicorn particles, things that are fading in and out of nowhere.
Okay, wait. Okay. So
Particles are a cult?
So Casey, so I'm confused a little bit here because, okay. He sounds like he's confusing quantum with fundamental particle physics. But quantum is just the fact that there are quantized states to be had. There are certain things that are, like example, like the spin of electron, are quantized. We recognize that they have certain integral spins or half spins of a certain quantized thing. They cannot be random spins. They have to be a specific number or either like one half that number. They can't be 0.62, 12, whatever or something. And so that's what quantized is. If you're doing
well, I mean, if you're going to suggest that he's confusing something, did anybody else catch that he seemed to imply that he doesn't believe particles exist because he called it unicorn particles?
Well, maybe he's talking about virtual.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't believe in particles.
Okay, cool. So, all right.
It seems to me that he just doesn't know what particles are.
So help us out, Casey. What is he? Okay, he doesn't accept gravity. He doesn't accept particles.
It's hard to put a pin on what exactly it is he believes in because the terminology he uses is spirit science terminology. Just keep watching.
Okay, all right. Well, that kind of like what I deal with. I have some atheists do with epistemology, but yeah, or philosophy, but yeah, okay.
Where completely absurd insanity, something that even a drunk lunatic hopped up on Vicodin could not even dream up in a lucid nightmare. Okay, and let's go into the denotative, meaning their own definition.
People are so hard.
Okay, and then let's use quantum to destroy the premise of quantum. In other words, I'm going to quote Richard Feynman, the cult figurehead of quantum theory. I'm going to use him to destroy his very beloved child. Okay, quantum, a discrete quantum quantity of energy proportional to the magnitude and frequency of the radiation it represents. Actually, even the people in quantum will tell you that quantum is ultimately about discrete energy.
That's what I was saying.
I didn't know there were people in quantum. I didn't think they could survive.
Somebody didn't watch Ant-Man.
Quantity. Neither does the field.
He barely made it.
The key word here is energy, but what they really mean is fields. Quantum is the Latin word for amount, and in modern understanding it means the smallest possible discrete unit of energy or property.
Well, that's the root word. Guess that's what it means.
First mention of quantum was Max Planck and writing a mathematical equation of Planck's constant, and it's the relationship
I think it's pronounced Planck, but
of energy of light. However, they call that the photon energy. Of course, there's no such damn thing as a photon. It's a completely absurd.
Wait a minute. We've actually taken pictures of single photons. We've actually slowed them down and captured single packets of photonic energy moving. What does he think that is?
Fake news.
But did you know that there is an invisible enemy which we're fighting that has not been photographed by transmission electron microscopes?
That was created by China.
It was created by China in a lab to target our elderly white people, even though it targets black.
So I
huge
I don't know what he's saying.
Basically, it's all Biden's fault.
Obama.
We'll go on more. You got something to add to this, Casey, or is just this?
Yeah, I would like to add just one thing. Is that we're going to make this great? Okay,
we're gonna make quantum great again.
We're gonna make quantum great again. We're gonna bring it back. We're gonna bring back clean quantum.
Clean quantum.
Huge clean quantum.
Abstraction. That, as I showed you in a prior video,
Beautiful,
made
clean
less than a week ago,
quantum.
was invented by
Bring back a lot of jobs, a lot of quantum jobs,
with a degree in psychology, who was interested in parapsychical research. In other words, a total wackadoodle nut job crackpot. So the person who invented the term photon, as I showed you in that prior video, was a crackpot. So now we actually have the term quantum based upon Planck's constant
we're going to build a
equation,
quantum wall.
which is
We're going to make photon pay for it.
i.e. Planck's constant times f, the frequency. Very simple equation. Quantum in reality actually means a field, but there's never been any branch of physics or any branch of quantum mechanics, which of course is not a science at all, ever defined a field. A field in principle has never and nowhere ever been defined. I will give $1 million to any one of you out there
$1 million
who's a brain-dead idiot. And you are, because if you believe this, you're a brain-dead idiot. Oh my God, that's so arrogant. I'll give you $1 million to
So I guess you gotta believe him, right? We're an idiot if we don't.
Definition of a field in principle, and I don't mean Maxwellian field equations. Maxwellian field equations never define a field. They are only expressions of field modalities as expressed over a vector over a given period of time with an end result. So the four Maxwellian field equations never define what the hell a field is, only how a field is expressed in effect over a vector.
All right, so a couple things. Well, fields are defined in mathematics, right? You have rings, groups, fields. But okay, so first of all, does he have $1 million to give it to anybody? I mean, you can't say I'm going to give you $1 million if you don't have $1 million.
What was the challenge anyway?
I guess he wants to have a some kind of prescriptive definition of some kind of what a field is, I guess.
Well, regardless, there was a decent amount of word salad in there. If you play that part again, I can point out exactly what words were nonsense.
Well, we would be here all day. They're all nonsense. It's more
we need a counter if he's going to do that.
How
we
is
need
he
a counter
stringing
going in
them
the corner.
together is the interesting part, right?
Steve, the fallacious beliefs that he is correcting by this wisdom he's bestowing upon us is worth more than any $1 million prize can give us. So
$1 million I could use right now.
Has,
You do realize that I got screwed out of tens of thousands of dollars. $1 million right now would come in very handy, right?
Do you donate to Scientology again?
You know what? If they told me they could launch my career, I just had to
I swear to God, Steve, if you donate to Scientology, you're doing on Twitter alone.
They got me the same damn way. They told me the same thing, and they said that Katie Holmes was still there.
Yeah, they said hold on to these metal things, and Katie will come out and talk to you, and she'll be your friend.
But, Zeno needs that money, dude.
And she was for as long as it took her to grab my money.
Yeah, well, So, anyways, so he's talking about a field in vector space, and Casey is probably going to read me for all this, but when you have a three-dimensional field, that means that you have forces, a tensor equation, right? You have something that's changing position and momentum of a given particle in three dimensions. So normally, like if you have a scalar field, it's going to be in one dimension. Then you have a magnitude for that. Then you have a vector that's going to be in 2 dimensions. So if I say that I'm going to going 30 miles an hour at 33 degrees, right? That's a scalar quantity with a vector attached to a direction. So a field would be a 3-dimensional representation of that, where you have 3 degrees of movement of freedom. Casey, would that be something similar to what it actually is, or I'm just pulling out of my ass because I took vector analysis?
You're on the right track.
Okay.
Can I just jump in?
I remember tip to tail, baby. And I remember.
Hang on
one second. I do remember that the dot product of 2 orthogonal vectors is 0. Yes.
I just want to jump in here real quick and about Katie Holmes is that she ain't. I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't hanging with no Jim Majors.
Ooh.
Are you? Wait. What are you?
I even got to hang with Jim Majors.
What are you implying?
I got to hang with Jim. I did have drinks with him.
You know what?
I'm implying that you've been ignoring me and haven't gotten back to me in a really long time, and you hurt my feelings.
You know what? I haven't eaten fruit rounds in like 15 years. I eat Fruit Loops. Okay.
All right, so I guess we're going to continue on here. Or do you want me to replay that, Casey? It doesn't matter to me.
We can go ahead.
Get money.
All right, here we go. There's a button.
With X amount of effect due to causation at a vector over a period of time. That's the easiest way to actually define or lump the 4 Maxwellian field equations together. So, now let's quote Tricky Dicky, or Richard Feynman here. See, quantum ultimately is only about energy, but energy is really only in reference to fields. And here is our Tricky Dicky on energy. It is important to realize that in physics today we have no knowledge of what energy is. This is from the cult figurehead of quantum mechanics.
Well, I just say energy is condensed matter, or matter's condensed energy. So, I guess energy would be uncondensed matter if that's the case.
We're going to condense it better than anybody. We have the best Tricky Dickies.
I mean, the energy is just basically the ability to do some kind of work. You just that's it, kind of in a nutshell, isn't it? If I remember my physics correctly. From
nutshell.
It's important to realize today that we have no knowledge of what energy is.
What?
Okay, so quantum mechanics, quantum theory, which is based on
saying all this
energy,
while he's on
which
the
is
internet?
actually based on fields, but fields are not.
He's got
particles,
3,300
not
views on it.
entities. Oh, but according
He's
to
got
them, they are. They're
218,000
magic
subscribers
particles
listening
called
to this dribble.
virtual
How
photons.
many of those views are King Crocoduck watching this over
he
and
has
over again?
He has 200,000 subscribers.
Yeah, 200,000 views. I mean subs.
No, 200,000
Yeah,
subscribers.
Yeah.
Actually believe in this shit, which is not the input or output of any experiment ever done ever. I've actually had some morons try to debate me on that. They're like, "Yeah, sure, we've discovered virtual." You know what the term virtual means? That's like saying you actually ran into like Super Mario Brothers out on the sidewalk.
Oh God, I can't. I'm done. Yeah.
So he's talking about debating. Crocoduck, would you like, if we could get this guy on non sequitur, would you like to come and talk
Would
to
you
him?
like to have words with him?
Absolutely.
Why?
That
not?
would be epic.
Yeah.
No, I know how much you love a good dumpster fire, and that just light itself. Like that's just no gas required.
I want to talk to him about quantum. I need it to happen.
You need this to happen.
Oh, baby. I'm excited.
I can't say anything. I engage with SJ regularly.
So we've got
man.
until June to set this up, I guess.
Shit.
I don't think he leaves the house, so we get any time, perhaps.
Somebody get in touch with this guy. Make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
We'll get there.
This guy's a human potato.
Yeah, well, it sounds like he never. I gotta get the screen back.
We got some little bitty oars in a square boat, but we'll get there eventually.
It sounds like he doesn't ever get to where he's trying to go. I mean,
It's because he's paddling on the same side.
I mean, he's just like just a bunch of saying words and stuff, but it just doesn't. I don't know what the hell he's saying. I don't speak this language.
Very bright. I'm not very bright. I don't know a whole ton about physics. I don't know a whole lot of the terms, or I don't know a whole lot on the subject at all. But literally none of that dude said made any sense to me. So like when Landon explains something, he is like I'm way out of my depth, but when Landon explains something, I can usually figure out the concept and pick up what he's saying, even though I'm not very well versed in the field at all. But this guy, like literally everything he said made absolutely zero sense in any way, shape, or form to me.
Well, this is the difference between somebody like Landon, who actually does know what he's talking about, and somebody like this guy who doesn't seem to have a freaking clue. I mean, this guy. Do you know if this guy's had any training in science, King?
No, he's a camera guy. He's all about cameras. Like,
he's a camera guy, so he's
that's relevant, right? Like shutter speed. Yeah.
I mean, the damn thing's got 167
I mean, don't you hold
likes.
on? Wait, isn't light a photon?
Not going to him.
How can he take pictures without? Wait, what?
Magnets.
I took a picture with a magnet, guys.
It only has 11 downvotes, so. But reading the comments, they're all like. He thinks he's a super genius.
Doesn't believe in quantum.
Everyone
yet
thinks
he's
he's a
using
genius. That's why he has 200,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
Here's one person that's been a member for a long time because he's got a red thing. So I mean, he's got people that actually pay to listen to this shit. Casey, you're actually doing things
I'm
wrong.
definitely paying for it. Trust me, I'm paying for it.
I'm telling you, Casey, I think you're in the wrong end of the spectrum. I think you need to go into the more spirit and science shit and just, you know the words, you know the jargon. Just jargon bomb the fuck out of people. Get 1 million fucking subs, and you'll be good to go.
Shit.
Can we please do that as an experiment? Could if the great king over here had enough spare time, could you think we could convince him to make another channel that is still just him, but he just flips the script?
That'd be hilarious.
Just to see how well it does.
I could write this. I can write the scripts, but my voice is perhaps too recognizable. You'd have to get somebody else to do the talking.
King's Crocoduck.
We can definitely do that. Well, we can find somebody to do that. Hell, I'll
Kyle,
do it.
Is that you?
I was gonna say nobody knows me. I'll do it.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, I mean, I think it'd be funny if it was actually Casey doing it. If Casey be just like, his alternate personality.
Debunking himself.
Jekyll and Hyde, be like, fuck that other Crocoduck who actually went to school for this shit. Let me tell you how it really is. You be getting...
Start out your channel debunking yourself.
Yeah, there you go. You have people paying you for both sides, man.
Man, that's one hell of a racket.
Yeah.
Quite the con. It'd be a fun experiment just to see if you can get like any kind of traction just bullshitting.
Oh my God. Some of these comments are just golden. It's like, is it one of these? Isn't light virtual by necessity, since the part of our brain that interprets light have never been actually exposed to said light? What? I don't know what that. I mean.
It gives a Kent Hovind audit a run for its money.
I mean, I get what he's trying to say. Brains haven't been exposed to light, but our eyes have a retina, and that retina takes the photon hits the retina, it deposits the energy. That energy gets transmitted to the brain as a form of a signal, and the brain knows how to process that.
Well, by that logic, it would everything that we witness or anything that we experience would have to be virtual by that definition, by that argument.
My grandmother does not understand the necessity of a ground wire, but she can play the hell out of Candy Crush on her phone. So, I mean, it doesn't require understanding to operate.
I don't know. Grounding's pretty important. I don't know.
As long as she's not the one putting it together, it's probably fine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well,
or educating people on it.
I thought my dad knew a little about it too, but I remember years ago, he wanted me to help install a fountain. And so I was putting in a fountain in, and I was like, okay, so you got all the powers off. Yeah, good to go and stuff like that. And as soon as I went to go work on that electrical stuff, guess what the fuck happened? It wasn't turned off. I was like, I was grounded, and it sucked. But
feels bad, man.
Yeah, I was like,
Steve. So can I just write the title for the next Steve Exposed video? Steve's dad tried to kill him when he was a child.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's good. I think I should do that. The time my dad tried to kill me. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Get like 5,000.
Tried to drown me in the bathtub.
Yeah.
100% not clickbait.
Yeah. When I was a baby, my mom tried to drown me in the tub. She called it a bath, but
my mom stabbed me in the face with scissors. 100% not clickbait.
I actually died last night, and not clickbait. I'm resurrected, not clickbait. No, it didn't. Somebody had to break it. No, it didn't. But I released it pretty quickly, so it was only like a quick zap. Yeah, but and by the way, I mean, household current, unless you're really wet and really, really sufficiently grounded, it's probably not going to kill you. I mean, if you're in a tub or something and your toaster falls in, you're dead.
You heard it. You heard it here, folks. You need to be really, really wet and really, really grounded.
Exactly.
Yep.
You like it that way, right?
Wet
I
and
knew
grounded.
electricians that would hold on to wires, household current. It didn't bother them. They were so used to it. But I mean, I don't recommend it, by the way. But I'm just saying that you have to have certain conditions for it to really. You have to get 10 milliamps or higher across the heart to really kind of screw you over. Your body has a high natural resistance.
I absolutely love that guy who goes on. I can't remember his name. He's like something engineer. I can't remember what his name is. I can't.
Godless
Freak.
engineer.
The guy. No, the guy who licks batteries.
Who looks
But he
better?
like licks batteries and like he's actually an electrical engineer and he knows what he's doing. So he makes videos about like putting together weird contraptions and he like electrocutes himself all the time.
Oh yeah, he like zaps his mustache off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I was thinking more like somebody trying to lick like a AA battery. Oh, it doesn't work. Because it only works on 9 volts.
I mean, I'm not saying that that whether or not Godless Engineer did or did not lick a battery or electrocute himself and fry his brain at some point. I'm not gonna say because I don't have the. It's possible. I'm not saying like it could be. I'm not saying
don't
that it
kill
is.
somebody
I
else.
don't know.
Yeah, here's a fun fact for you. Casey knows this because Casey knows everything. But water is actually electrically neutral. It's isolated. It's actually insulating.
Yeah, it pisses me off in Pokemon because electric Pokemon should not be super effective against water Pokemon. That piss me off.
Yeah.
Water is polar.
Well, water's a bipolar solvent, but it's an insulator. Yeah, I shouldn't say it's electrically neutral,
Yeah.
but it is an insulator. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a very
bipolar-
good dielectric material
Yeah.
because of
Yeah,
its
which-
polarity.
It pisses me off in Pokemon, man. It should weaken electrical
If it-
attacks, not
if it
fucking
was-
strengthen them.
If it wasn't a polar solvent, it wouldn't have weak hydrogen bonds between the water molecules.
Would not feel strongly one way or another.
Isn't physics fun?
Physics is fun. I know dick all about it, but it's fun.
Well, Casey will start putting out more videos explaining this stuff to people and using really big word bomb jargon stuff. And then the next video he'll come out and he'll totally say, "Hey, the video I just made, it's all wrong. Let me explain to you why."
Oh god.
Basically.
Now you think you know something. Now let me explain to you why you don't know shit.
That actually could work though if you did it right. And I mean, like seriously, to educate people, say you look at, hey, everything I said in the last video was right, but let me explain to you why it really wasn't in some ways. And then I don't know, because there are some things that are just so nuanced that
There
especially
is a
quantum.
teaching method like that. They do that in like high school physics. A lot of high school physics and chemistry is taught to you incorrectly at first, and they're like, listen, you just need to learn this so you have this understanding, and now we're going to teach you how it actually works.
Yeah, that's called heuristic.
Yeah.
Similar to thing like in the Navy, they do heuristic teaching because they basically say, like at the beginning, some of the stuff you're not gonna understand, but go with it until later on where they actually more demonstrated. I mean, calculus is the same way. Anybody who's ever had calculus, at least when I went through it, it was like, okay, this is the power rule. We're not going to derive it. We're not going to explain why it works. It's fucking magic. Go with it, and you use it. And then later on, you learn how to derive the power rule, right? Unless you're king and then you learn it in the second grade.
No, I didn't learn that in the second grade.
Oh, come on.
We got to it in the fourth grade.
in the fourth grade. Well, you were a slow learner then.
Yeah, I was.
You're
I was
held
the
back.
retard.
Let me ask you though. Do you think math should be taught? I mean, earlier on, and you think that you think we wait too long to really educate kids in things like calculus and things like philosophy and the more important things? I think they take things so damn slow that I wish it would have been different. I wish I would have learned things a lot earlier. They started teaching me algebra in about 7th and 8th grade, and I just didn't have an aptitude for it until later on, where I was like, I really got to learn this shit. But
I think that kids who want to learn are going to learn at the pace that's right for them, and if you put them in a class where other kids don't want to learn, then they're going to be learning at the pace of the lowest common
It brings everybody
denominator.
down.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. But
Yeah, I think the entire educational system, particularly around math, needs to be completely revamped.
Oh,
mostly just
yeah.
because they just do not teach you the application of math or why it's important or how it actually is interesting in any goddamn aspect.
Well, they have
It's
Common Core
it is
here.
taught as the most boring shit on the planet. And they don't tell you why or how anything works. Like the concepts aren't really explained. They just tell you the formula.
What do you think
I
of
think that
Common
in high
Core?
school they should create 2 tracks, one for people who are interested in going into STEM and one for people who are not. For the people who want to go into STEM, you keep it as it is, make them do algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus. And then for everybody else, you don't teach them geometry, you don't teach them anything aside from the basics of algebra, like the very bare bone basics, and instead you focus a lot of time on probability and statistics. This is
that would be a good
what's
idea.
going to be that's what's going to be important to them in life, not whether they can plot a logistic function given a certain set of parameters.
Okay, I kind of get that. Now back in my day, we had programs called MGM and GATE, mentally gifted minors, and GATE was gifted and talented education. I don't know if those things are still around. I was in both those from as long as I remember, like 3rd, 4th grade. I was always in the accelerated class. But it was a separate pipeline. So we would have a couple core classes together. Then we were to be in a very separate class. And I remember like in 5th grade, we were dissecting a cow heart, right? We were studying a little bit about Egyptology. We had to read the Chronicles of Narnia. We had to read The Hobbit throughout this pipeline. And before I even got to junior high. I don't see that happening. Like my daughter didn't have any of that stuff. She was going to a STEM school too. And it wasn't very accelerated. I didn't see them in the STEM programs were doing what we had before. So maybe it was like something later on, but I don't know. I still think that they wait far too long to teach them some of the stuff that they really needed to know. Because basic algebra, you can start learning that in 5th grade. Look, I started programming in 5th grade. And so if you can program in 5th grade, you can probably learn how to do algebra. I just never was exposed to it.
I was in the special class. Why aren't all the special classes like special class?
Well, your special class
That's what
was
you're
not the same
asking,
thing.
Steve.
Your special class was not the same thing.
I was with all the smart kids. Why aren't all classes taught the way all the smart kids learn?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Is that too much to ask?
What the hell, man? Why doesn't it work like this? Why don't we cater to the smartest people?
You should be in charge of the education system in America rather than that one chick.
Because we need lots of workers. We just need people who can follow simple instructions and do as they're told. And
run a point of sale. Like I did point of sale forever because I was in retail for 20 years, but I was always in middle management. I was a store manager. I was an ops manager. I was assistant district manager. So you have to learn how to do the POS stuff, right? But generally, my job was later on. I had to train people to operate this kind of stuff, right? I actually was the one explaining, hey, this is how you do this kind of stuff. So I had to learn it myself. But they don't. A lot of them have very low skills to even do basic point of sales. It's sad because they couldn't even do. I'm not even lying. When you work in retail, you do a lot with discounts, right? And you would say, okay, here's an item that's $100. You get a 50% discount off that, and then they have a coupon for 50% more off, and they want it for free. And it's like, no, that is not how it works.
It's 50% off of 50% off, not 50% off of the total, and then 50% off the original total again. Yeah.
So it's very, and so you ask these questions to like when you're interviewing these people and you're in the PO and stuff, and it's like they don't know how to do it. You say, I'm not even kidding. You say, okay, it's $100, it's 10% off. We're not trying to trick people, right? They're not like what's 7.26% of $8.52, something like that. It's what is 10% of 100, and you get a blank look staring at you. I mean, that's just bizarre to me.
So what is it?
$1,000.25. No. And by the way, I tell people there's simple ways of doing it.
Next time I go to the store, and I'm going to say, my nuke engineer friend who was in the Navy told me this.
The way I try to explain to them, the easiest way is at least get an idea is, okay, start with like 10% of 100, so 10, and then 5% is just half of that, so 5%. And you can add these percents together, and you can kind of figure out where approximately your discount's going to be. So if you reach a number that's completely, if the item's $100 and you're selling it for $1.50, there's probably a problem here, you know?
Yeah.
But if it says, okay, it's 20% off, okay, 10% of 100 is 10, 10 times 2, because you have 10 plus 10 is 20, so 20% off of 100 would be 20%. They don't have to really think about it.
I feel like the market has probably changed a little bit, Steve, in that the people who are required to work the jobs aren't paid enough to care if the system fucks up, so fuck the company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, oh no, the system made them get way more money than they should. Oh well, not my money, not my problem. They should fix their system.
So I gotta turn over to you and Jim and Brandon for a few minutes. So keep King entertained. Can you do that?
I'm thoroughly entertained as it is.
Do you like? I actually have to bow out. As much as I enjoyed the conversation, I need to go feed the horses.
We miss you. It's been a while, Jim.
Yeah, man. I miss you too. We need to plan something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we do this thing in LA, you should come out and visit us.
Yeah, man, absolutely, I would.
That'd be awesome. Just make sure you don't lose your stuff.
I want to go to LA and meet Jim. That'd be cool.
Oh man,
you want to be able to hang with Jim, man. Jim's pro. Jim's pro, man.
Oh, so you're telling me that I ain't a gold? You're not saying I'm a gold digger. I just ain't hanging with no Jim Majors.
Yeah, you ain't hanging with Jim Majors. Yeah. He's got the constitution of an ox, man.
Yeah, and I have the emissions of a donkey.
I do got to step away for a few minutes though, so you guys can carry on.
Oh shoot, that was dang it! I didn't mean to say that. That was Ezekiel 32:30.
I got a question for the king over here.
What's up?
Your conferencey thing that you're working on. Did you have anything like specific that you were thinking about that you wanted to be talked about? Because you were talking about having like speakers and stuff.
Whatever people are interested in, honestly, it's just going to be super chill. Yeah, I don't have anything specific.
And like a party, but
I mean, I deal a lot of the time with assholes on the internet and like that kind of shit, trolly shit. Do you want somebody to come in and talk about trolls?
Fine, if that's what you want to talk about.
And like a gigantic party, but
I'm only half kidding, and I'm only half kidding because like stuff like that can easily be translated to in not sounding like a dick. It is like cyberbullying and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. It sounds really cool though. It sounds like a great idea.
For sure.
Faux show. Do you have a time frame on this, or is this just like a kind of just a work in progress idea right now?
It's just an idea that's been on my mind. I have no knowledge of like logistics or planning or anything like that. It's just an idea that I had in my head that I'm at this point bouncing off of people. Oh
yeah. Well, I'm more than willing to give you a hand if you need a hand in something. I'm usually pretty good at logistics, so I can probably help out.
That's a generous offer.
I'm a nice guy. Don't let anybody tell you different, man.
Yeah, don't let me tell you different.
Yeah, see? Hey, that's a nice picture there you got going on, Jim. Where'd that come from?
Thanks. Oh, I grew it myself.
How is your garden coming along? Your garden.
Oh, good. Yeah, going really good. It's I'm really looking forward to my first fruits.
Nice. The fruits of your labor, as it were.
Yeah. The fruits of my loin labor.
Are they spirit fruits?
I mean, if you dry them right.
I lost the word garden there for a minute. I'm working on a painting. I'm recording my screen right now, like on my tablet, and I'm calling it facepalm protection, and it's just the goblin with two gigantic oven mitts on, just smacking itself in the face.
Well,
It should be a GIF.
I want to animate it at some point. Yeah.
You know, Xanax would make that a lot more fun. Just kidding. Xanax is bad unless you're prescribed it.
Don't do anything that you have not spoken to your doctor about, and I mean anything.
Absolutely.
If you haven't talked to your doctor about eating apple pie, don't eat apple pie.
Yes. And if a stranger offers you drugs, say thank you because drugs are expensive.
Yes.
Yes.
And then sell them for more profit.
Oh,
I mean, don't do any illegal activities.
I don't think anybody here is gonna jump on that train.
talking about your loin label when dealing with the garden. What, you spunk all over your garden or something?
Yeah, it's adds nitrogen to the soil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just takes for freaking ever.
Yeah, you've got a pretty big garden.
Well, I figured that the key to it is just to use something with benzocaine as a lubricant, and I just go forever. Oh,
well, there you go. Bringing a more literal meaning to a hose.
Yeah, in different area codes.
Oh my god. Glorious. Absolutely.
Speaking of which, your address still the same?
Where are you what are you working on? What are you working on next? Jim.
Who?
Jim.
I'm trying to work on you, bro. Your address still the same?
I know. I moved across the country.
Like closer?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. That's what I'm
You
talking about.
used to live on the East Coast, right?
Yes.
And you're now on the West.
Not that far. I'm central. I'm near Toronto.
Ugh. Never mind.
So like Michigan, like.
No.
Michigan.
No,
Yeah,
Toronto.
No, not quite that. Lake Ontario. Like just off of Lake Ontario.
I see.
You saw how even reluctant she was to say that she was near Ontario. She's like, I'm near Ontario.
I'm in Ontario. I can't even pretend I'm not. I'm near Detroit. If that makes you feel any better.
Ooh.
I've been to Detroit. It's actually not as bad as people say.
I've never been. I've only heard stories. They're usually not very good stories.
Yeah. No, but they're having an economic resurgence. I hung out in Wayne County there for a little bit, and it's nice over there. It's like a modern college town.
I heard it was because they put in a new Tim Hortons.
Oh, that would do it. Yo, even with the borders all being closed, Canadians will absolutely just swim the river and just be like, the rules. I'm gonna go get Timmy's. Give me my donut.
I got your stimulus, your stimulus plan right here. I'm just gonna take a bunch of food trucks. We're gonna sell nothing but poutine, and we're gonna go from fucking Maine to Washington and just line the border. Okay.
Actually, that's probably not a terrible idea, provided you have good poutine. What kind of gravy were you planning on using? Because the gravy's, as long as you've got decent fries, the gravy's gonna be what makes it.
Yeah, I call it poutine a la Jim.
So it's gonna be Jim gravy. Got it. Cool.
Yeah. Just little curds.
Are you gonna use the potatoes that you grew in your spunk garden too while you're at it?
Why wouldn't I? That's like the perfect harmony.
Guys, I literally had to step away because my roommate bought me dinner. He bought me Mexican food. I'm eating sour cream. Listen to Jim talking about his
from spunk you came and to spunk you shall return.
Okay, your timing is not good here, Jim.
Are you upset because the sour cream reminded you too much of Jim Spunk now?
It reminds me a lot of Texas, yeah.
It shouldn't bother you unless it's starting to get warm and runny.
Well, it also has guacamole in it too, so you might want to see a doctor.
Be careful if you get HP though.
Oh man, I mean it's okay. But when I was in the military, they lined me up and I got 16 shots in one day. Well, 17 if you include the one in my butt. It was penicillin. I'm pretty sure that I'm immune to everything now.
If it makes you feel any better, we have now learned, and we need to keep this in mind, that if you're planning on buying property, according to King Crocoduck, you should go buy it in Detroit right now while it's still cheap, but in the right places.
And used cars right now, guys. If you're in the market for a car, get it now, because they're selling used cars like at 50-40% of market value.
Cheap too, but oh wait,
I may or may not have bought a new motorcycle.
What is it?
I used to.
Don't worry about it. I'm broke. Remember?
You were a biker, Casey?
I used to be.
Oh.
I had a terrible
Nice.
accident a couple years ago.
Oh, that's not
yeah.
nice. Take it back.
I had one that made me sell my bike and not get on one for about 4 years.
Was it your, not to bring back memories, was it your fault or somebody else's? 'Cause usually in a
The
bike,
other person's
yeah.
fault. She did a U-turn from the curb, cut across 3 lanes, and dragged me with her. Got 3 broken ribs and lots of road burn.
Damn.
I was going up an on-ramp onto an interstate, and it was cold. I was heading home from my girlfriend's house, and it was onto like a 4-lane interstate, like 2 lanes one way, 2 lanes the other. And looked back over my shoulder, and there's an 18-wheeler, but he was in the passing lane and a good distance behind me. And so I, went ahead and went up the ramp, and then out of the corner of my eye, I like saw the truck, and he was coming over into the right-hand lane. I guess he didn't see me. And so I dropped a gear and just gave it everything that it got, but I gave it a little too much, and it went sideways and out from underneath me, and I went across both lanes. The truck almost hit me. Me and the bike went down into the median, into the ditch, and I stayed in the ditch, and the bike went up and out the other side and wrapped itself around the pole.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I got a road rash from my ankle to the top of my ass. But yeah, I had 2 more bikes at the house, and I sold those, and I didn't get on another bike for 4 or 5 years probably.
Well, my sister, when I was 4 years old, my sister was on a bike, and I was in the back of the bike, and she was pedaling, and I caught my ankle in the gear thing. and it scraped my ankle. That hurt. That hurt a lot. Just to let you know. Took off. Like,
I used to ride a bicycle to work, and the amount of times that I almost got sideswiped by cars is like ridiculous.
Do you guys remember like that deathly feeling, like that just sinks, that your heart just sinks to your ass whenever your shoelace gets wrapped around the pedal and it catches finally? I'm gonna die.
Not cool.
I've had a lot of near-death experiences. Yeah, I mean, you think about it, as you get older, the likelihood of you having these like experiences increase. So that's why I wouldn't want to live together forever.
Oh, really? I wonder why.
Well, if you live forever, you think about everything's going to happen to you that you fear. So I don't want to live forever. That would suck. But because everything's bound to happen to you, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't know how I made it out of.
I don't think that's how that works.
If you live forever, you basically have to experience everything.
No, I don't. Remember when you were talking about teaching statistics and probability to people?
It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder. You're gonna get creamed by a comet that hits you in the head. Could take your ass out.
So
Steve would know all about getting creamed.
In the head.
Hey. So just out of curiosity, Steve, real quick, if I flip a coin, what are the odds that it'll be tails?
Well, assuming it's a fair coin, 50-50.
Okay, so if I flip a coin again, what are the odds it'll be?
Assuming it's a fair coin, 50-50.
Okay, so how many times before it's not 50-50?
Every event, every new flip is a new event.
Yay!
So it's a new event
cool.
space.
Sweet.
Definitely. Yeah.
The expectation.
She thinks I'm an idiot, King. See, this is what she does to me.
No, I'm just giving you a taste of your own medicine sometimes. It's fun.
You know what? I'm gonna run what is it? Money Hall pot problem with her one of these days. Failed in engineering, $2. What's up? Love y'all. We love you too, Manya.
Hello. She's the best. What a mad lad. She's Manya the mad
brutal,
lad.
Man. She's brutal. She don't mess with golden uniform.
I love Manya.
I know you do. You love her.
Who doesn't love Manya?
Yeah, that's
Literally everyone should love Manya. If they don't, they're just wrong.
I've always loved Manya in a special way, but We haven't done the Monty Hall problem in a long time. I think that maybe we should visit that one of these days. Get landed in here and do that.
Tell me the money hall problem.
Would you want to be on that? Is that what you want?
Could you remind me what it is?
Oh, the Monty Hall problem is when you have 3 doors and you have to play by certain rules. That you pick a door. Monty has to give you the ability to switch doors, and he has to at least offer you a chance to keep the door or not keep the door. And if he'll always open at least one door. So if he has 3 doors and one of them has a booby prize, which is like actually 2 of them have a booby prize, like a goat or something, unless you really like goats, which is a whole different issue. But let's say you got 2 goats.
Allahu Akbar by Deuterino.
Yeah, I'm not judging if you want the goat, but so you have 2 goats in like a car, right? So let's say the car is behind door number 3, and you say, okay, I want to pick door number 1, and Monty Hall says, okay, here you can either keep your door or I'm gonna open door 2, and he opens door 2, and there's a goat behind it. And he says, now, do you want to switch from your door to number 3, or do you want to keep the door you have? What's the better option?
Switch.
And it's always better to switch. It's 2/3 chance if you switch. It's only 1/3 chance if you keep the door that you have. And when you do the enumeration, which I've actually done in real time, I've shown the enumerations of all these different ways you could do the tree. What's funny is people seem to think, for some reason, though, when he opens that second door, they think all of a sudden it collapses down to a 50-50. At that point, it's 50-50. Okay, when they keep the door or the other door, because there's only 2 doors left. That's not how it works in probability. Failed in engineering, $2. Am the mad lad.
I have a question, actually, or more of a suggestion. Steve's not big into anime. However, there is an anime that's entirely about gambling that's actually very good. And it spends a lot of time talking about like this stakes versus probability versus how do you know what thing to pick.
And the payouts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is really and basically like how like if you're going to cheat, like how can you use the information that is around you to essentially figure out the trick to whatever gambling situation you're in.
Well, the trick to like 3 cod Marty is just don't play.
Yeah.
Kind of like you remember the movie War Games?
Yep. Nobody. You can't win a 3-card Monty.
It was a strange game. The only way to win is not to play. Want to play chess?
Yeah.
Want to play a game of chess? Yeah. I remember that.
Texas Hold'em, deal from the bottom.
Do you remember who was in that movie? Who the main lead was?
Was it Matthew Broderick?
Yeah.
Was it really? Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Fran Drescher.
Fran Drescher when she was hot.
What was the name of the? Oh, sorry. People are asking me what the name of the anime is. Hold up, I'll pull it up. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's on Netflix.
Not sure. It's probably something Japanese that I was gonna try to say, but it'd be construed as racist.
So why in roulette does a house have the advantage?
Because they load the chamber.
Yeah, try that in Vegas. No. That's
Kakaguri.
I'm sure there's some backroom deals.
If you have red and blue, right? If I put $100 on red, that's not 50-50. Why is it not 50-50?
Because there's other options.
Which are
the anime is called Kakaguri. It's for anybody interested. It's Kakegurui. It's Kakaguri Compulsive Gambler. Kakegurui. If anybody's interested in it.
So Jim, what are the other 2?
It's on Netflix.
I just gave it away. There's 2 other options. What are the other options?
Well, I'm sorry. What's that? What were we talking about?
Not all roulette wheels are like this, but a standard roulette wheel. If you put $100 on red, why is it that's not 50-50?
Well, because it's not half red and half black.
Right. There's 2 other things that are neither. What are they?
Numbers.
Gosh, it's been a while since I played. Was it the 0? This is 0, right?
Yeah, the 0 and the 00.
The 00. Yeah, that's right.
That's why they have an advantage.
Right. So you have 38 in total. You have 36 plus the 0 and the 00.
Now, the first time I ever played roulette, no joke, I'm not even kidding. The first time I ever played roulette, I was 20 something. I don't know if I was already out of the Navy or I was on leave. I think I was on leave, but I was with my parents and we went to Vegas, and I played roulette for the very first time, and I put $2 on my favorite number that used to be my address years ago, which was 22, and I won. I won. So it was a payout of 36-1. So, what was it, like 70 some odd bucks, and I was like, oh, this is easy. Walked away broke.
And then all of a sudden, you had a lucky number for the rest of your life that
I
never
wasn't much
did.
lucky after that, but I did bet on my lucky number. First time I ever played it, and it hit. So, yeah. Once it was like $72 because I had a $2 bet.
I've only been to one casino in my life, and it was in Providence, Rhode Island. I was in Groton, Connecticut, and my girlfriend's at the time, her family lived in Providence, and we went to Foxwoods Casino. And at the time, I don't know if it still is, but at the time, it was the world's largest casino. And I paid like I don't know, I played with like $40. I think it started off with 20, went down, put another 20 in, and I got to like 250 on this stupid Monopoly game that was meant for like 12 people to play, and I was playing by myself. And for some reason, I was doing pretty good at it, and I cashed out, and I've never been in a casino since because I just want to be able to tell people that I'm up.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I mean, do you play Texas Hold'em?
I mean, with like friends and stuff that, but I don't. I honestly don't gamble.
Well, I play it on Facebook, right? So I've gotten up to like, I had 17 billion chips the other day, and I logged on, and for some reason I don't know why, but I was in the $1 billion one, right?
Jeez.
I played one hand and lost $1 billion, which is not the first time I've screwed up like that. So I've lost $1 billion in a hand before.
Does this translate like to actual money?
No. Oh yeah, I'm a billionaire, Jim. Don't you know?
No. I know. I mean, seriously, like a billion's like 100.
I have been struggling for the last couple of years, just to get my measly 30 grand out of Kyle. But I figure it's more of a principle thing because I'm a billionaire.
I'm sure that there would be a conversion rate or whatever. No, I don't think you actually had $1 billion of cores.
No. Steve is secretly from Zimbabwe.
Yeah, do you not know this?
Well, I knew that you were a Nigerian prince from that email you sent me.
I need you to take this money and then convert it for me, and I'll pay you to do it. You just give me $3,000 first so I can get it started.
Yeah, I'll just go and pick up like 6 $500 gift cards. Would that work?
Would you? Yeah, Best Buy would work really well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll get right on that.
So I was like, shit. But the funniest thing was, Jim, I went back to like one of the lower tables, and I made back like $1 billion in like a half hour because the guy was so fucking stupid and betting so bad. Because I've played like for so long, you just read certain players even though they're just avatars, and I'm like, that you're eventually going to come out ahead if you just follow the basic rules of Texas Hold'em. So,
what's the reward? Like, what do you get for winning?
The satisfaction, that you've killed somebody in Texas Hold'em.
Oh, okay.
Make him go.
Okay, so it's not actually gambling.
No, it's play money, but still, I mean, and by the way, real money is going to be a lot different. It's play style, clearly, but
yeah,
I don't want to bet $1 billion, as a blind, $1 billion blinds. Come on in. But no, I like Texas Hold'em, and I think it's a very good way to like, waste some time.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. We used to play with like pennies. Yeah, and we played in the Navy. We weren't allowed to play for money, but every now and then the guys would get together with a $50 buy-in, and we would just use poker chips and just not tell anybody and settle up afterwards.
No, we played euchre, canasta, cribbage, and spades. Was our games.
Yep, spades.
Oh, lots of spades in the mess decks.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so
spades, hallway boxing, and Texas Hold'em.
I didn't play any Texas Hold'em. Maybe did you ever play canasta or cribbage?
I mean, the nerds did, but
well, yeah, I was a nuke, dude.
Yeah, I know.
But do you know any of the odds for like Texas Hold'em? Like if you're sitting with a pocket like ace king, and somebody's got a pocket pair of sevens.
Oh, I mean, I could figure it out,
it's
like
what
the odds are, but I mean, to me,
it's about 49 to 51% if you got a pocket pair and they're sitting with a big slick or something.
Depends on what the river is too.
Well, I'm saying for a pocket, just at the opening, just for your pocket pairs.
Oh, I would take an ace king over pocket sevens, honestly.
So when you play Texas Hold'em, like they really want to see inside what you got inside your pocket.
Oh no, I don't. When I play Texas Hold'em, we play blind. We don't let people see. I mean, sometimes we'll play one up, one down, but
Yeah, but you don't want anybody to see what you've got in your pocket?
No.
Hey, Jess,
sometimes it's beneficial.
Do you want to see what he's got in his pocket, Josh?
I have a hole in my pocket.
Yeah.
Good.
What?
Very useful.
So, anyways, I think. Hey, Casey,
I'll be right back, guys.
Because Casey's. What do you play? Are you still playing your game, Casey?
Yeah.
Being entertained, just listen to us playing your game. See, look what all we do for the people in quarantine. We're talking about Jim's pocket stuff.
I'm taking one for the team currently.
Yeah. Oh, I've known you take one
That's
for
what
the
she
team a few
said.
times. Yeah. Taking more than one, man.
Wishes what she said.
But yeah, no, I miss those days. That's like one of the very few things I missed from being in the military is those days, late night, midnight, have midnight rations. They're called mid-rats. So basically, the stuff that didn't get eaten for dinner, they kind of reheat and throw some other shit in there, and they feed it to you at midnight. And you don't have, it's like you never have to go eat. It's just that it's available to you sometimes. They don't always have it.
You guys are making me hungry. I'm gonna go get some lasagna.
I really miss hot racking after an 18-hour shift.
Oh God, ew. Yeah, the person after you really hates it.
For those who don't know what hot racking is, it means that there aren't enough racks to go around for everybody. So you share a rack with somebody who has the opposite shift or the opposite duty of you. So 18 hours on, 18 hours off. And when they're getting out of the rack, you're getting in it.
Gross.
Yeah. Well, I only had to do that. Okay. I only had a hot rack for probably a couple days when I got to my.
I had it for like 3 weeks. I was being transported on the Providence, the 719, a Seawolf class sub, and it was either to go down to the torpedo room and stretch out on an ad cap, or hot rack.
Yeah, well, subs a lot. You have a lot less space for that kind of stuff. So yeah,
the torpedo room with the freaking A gangers down there and the machinist mates, man, they're loud as hell. It's too noisy down there.
I was in M1 division, machinist mate.
Yeah, well, were you TM or were you A ganger?
Neither.
Were you weapons or
we had a separate berthing? Now they had an A gang.
Right. So the machinist mate slept in berthing, but the
nukes had a special berthing.
Right, but the torpedo men slept in the torpedo room. Like they had racks in there, but it was specified for the torpedo men. But other than that, it wasn't split up.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to step out now.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
I am too. It's dark and I still haven't fed the horses.
But thank you, King. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, let me know what you're thinking of for that get together. But I'm going to be out in LA sooner than you probably think. So if you're serious about coming down and having Moscow Mule, let's do it.
Sweet dreams, my king. Sweet nights, my princess.
Ciao.
Sweet.
Night.
So yeah. Anyways,
bye, Chesh.
Bye.
Yeah, bye, Janet.
I kind of assumed you weren't talking to me.
Well, I was, but I mean, call me later.
I'll talk about it later.
So,
I finished up my painting while we were all chatting. So now I get to edit that. That'll be cool.
Well, anyways, thanks for this. I was supposed to get with Jonathan Ratz today, but he didn't get back in touch with me, so I'll reschedule that. He's either a graduate student at Biola or PhD. I don't know if he got his PhD yet, but he was a graduate student at Biola, physics and philosophy. But we were supposed to do something today. But anyways, we might pick that up later. And also, I think probably tomorrow I'll discuss some of the crap that went down with Matt Dillahunty talking mad shit about me and getting my positions wrong again for the.
Oh yeah, when are we going to talk about that?
I don't know. Tomorrow, I got nothing planned tomorrow. I'm not like I got a whole schedule going on there right now. It's pretty light. Actually.
Well, I got OPT lawyer coming on Friday at like 5:30. I think we're gonna look at some of the comments under his previous video and his just past video over on Reds' channel, and we're gonna talk about some of like the completely wrong garbage that people have been saying.
I'm going on record right now. I'm telling you. All these fucking e-lawyers are wrong. Not just wrong, potato wrong. Every person who's done a video on this topic that has not been an integral part of the case, like me and the lawyer, Reds maybe a handful of other people, have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. I mean, blindly have no idea what they're talking about. And that will eventually come to fruition. This letter, that my lawyer sent to Kyle, and the letter from the judge, Anybody who knows anything about law, and I took a little law in college, but anybody who knows a little about law will tell you that is a very, very stern warning. That is, hey, you do this, or you will probably go to jail.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So if you do it after that, then I'll probably be available at some point. But I don't know if you want me there.
Well, no, you said
but that's
Friday.
just what.
Today's what? Wednesday, right?
No, it's Thursday today,
it's
bruh.
Thursday. Shit.
Yeah.
How the fuck did I lose a day?
I have no idea. This week has been weird though. This week has been really.
I don't know what
weird.
it is because today is like March 72 or something, isn't it? Because of COVID, it's like March 72nd or something like that. Because I don't know what month we're in. It doesn't really matter because we're all in shutdown.
It's April.
It's the 112th day of February, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure Steve doesn't know where he is or what is going on anymore. He might be having a breakdown. I'm gonna check on him after this. We've had a weird week, to be fair, and
It's
we're gonna
been
talk
fucking brutal.
We're gonna talk about maybe a little bit of that stuff. I know there's some videos that we might be covering, including the Matt Dillahunty one. I think there was another video we might be looking at some point. And I think Manya might be coming for that. But
so
we'll
let's
see.
do
We'll
it.
talk about it. We'll get it sorted
Well, do you
out,
wanna
and
do
I'll
it
make sure
before
Steve
yours?
is okay.
Do you want it to be 4 years or after? I don't mind if it's after, but it's just easier before. But
I don't care.
it'll probably be before. Where do you guys?
Before is fine.
Let's ask the live chat. What time do you guys want tomorrow? Like I said, we're going to go over what Matt Dillahunty had to say about me and character assassinate me and get my positions wrong. Again, 2 years straight, he can't fucking understand my position, and I don't understand why. It's not that fucking hard.
Steve's so mad.
I don't get it. It's like, dude, if he wants to argue my positions are wrong, go for it. But at least get them fucking right, man. You don't. First of all, you don't say, hey, here's Steve's saying this and he's wrong. When Steve's not saying that you're not providing a rebuttal to anything.
Are you saying that it's a straw man fallacy?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? No,
Not
that
just a
can't
straw
be.
man fallacy. At this point, I just call it an outright lie.
What
I
do
hate
you
to say it, but Matt Dillahunty's just
mean?
outright lying. He's been corrected on this before.
People like Matt Dillahunty and people who follow around what Matt Dillahunty says never use fallacies. What are you talking
Well,
about?
no, they try, but they get them wrong.
They try to use the fallacies.
Yeah, they throw them out like this. It's a fallacy. Yeah, well, not the fallacy. It's the false fallacy, not the fallacy. Fallacy is that you think the conclusion is false. But you follow from the premise.
We'll see everybody later. Have a good
Are we leaving
night.
now? Am I done? I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused. God help me. I'm just gonna do the end card and Chesh, just say something smart. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure protons exist.
That works for me. I'm done.
Proton or photon? I don't know.
It doesn't matter. They're all virtual. They don't exist. Gravity sucks. Flat Earth.
Photon's kind of